What's up, you guys? I'm here with a new video today, and here to bring you guys a deck profile that you guys have been asking for, I want to say now, for probably more than a year. And yes, as you can see right in front of me, I have an updated Gravekeeper's deck profile after, it has to be, like I said, at least over a year. I have always kept this deck from the first time I played it back in like 2009, 2010, when the deck was really starting to take off. These are all the original Gravekeepers. I never really upgraded their rarities or anything like that. I never blinged them out. I always kept the same ones. I still have the same rare recruiters, the same rare descendants, the same common assailant, only a couple added things. I still have my 3 Gravekeeper spies, my first gold edition ones that one of my really good friends gave to me. I never changed never changed any of the rarities, always kept it the same, and I've always kept this deck in storage, and finally decided to bring it out and really try to put together a pretty consistent build for the current format. We all know that Necroz is obviously the best deck. It's the most represented deck, but at the same time, Necro Valley really does hurt that deck. The ability to play Dark Law in the deck now really hurts that deck. And some new additions to the deck, like Lose One Turn, and a pretty consistent trap lineup, including something a little different that I don't think people would see coming, in Dark Bribe. It has just made the deck. It's a really fun deck to play. Number one, number two, it has a fairly decent Necroz matchup. And for the main thing is that it's a really just, when you're tired of playing the same deck, it gives you something new to play. It gives you some new aspect of the game to look at, and you get to learn something through it. So I've wasted enough babbling. I'm just going to get into the deck real quick and explaining these explanations. But for our monsters, we start with the basics. We have our 3 Spy, our 3 Commandant, 3 Recruiter, only 2 copies of Descendant. After a couple years, I finally cut to 2 Descendants. I always ran 3. I cut to 2 through plenty of testing with the deck over the years, and testing as of now. 2 was fine. Spot removal is there when you need it. That's all they were there for, and 2,000 direct if need be. Still just 1 copy of Assailant. That hasn't changed. That card's really, really good. Being able to just put monsters to defense or tilt them to attack if need be just really comes in handy. And one of the newer Gravekeepers, one of the only new ones I play, is of course 1 Shaman. Has the Grave effect, just protects Necro Valley, just really solid card. And to round out the monsters, 2 copies of Effect Veiler, because Veilers needed this format. Trishula is a bitch if you don't have Necro Valley, and Veiler is just good because it stops the Manju, the Senju, just any effect monster you want to stop, like Deneb or whatever you're playing it against. Veiler's there. That's it for the monsters. For our spells, of course, the triple Necro Valley, the triple Duality, 2 copies of Mass Change number 2 to bring out Dark Law and Yankee. The additions to the ability to play those is just great, especially with Recruiter being able to Mass Change 2 Recruiter, get the search off Recruiter, bring out Dark Law or Yankee. It's just awesome. 2 copies of Gravekeeper Stel, of course, recycle all day. It's a +1. And to round out the spells, just 1 Raigeki and 1 Book of Moon, staples. On to the traps, we have a pretty hefty trap lineup, but we have 3 copies of Fiendish Chain. In this deck, you really need Fiendish Chain, in addition to Effect Veiler, because you need to be able to stop attacks, number 1, and number 2, the main thing is to stop effects. Effects are the main thing that you're after, because they can really just mess you up, especially if you don't have Valley. Like I've said in many videos, Necroz and Trishula is just an absolute nightmare for a lot of decks, and especially non-meta decks like this, they do have a hard time against Trishula, and the fact that they're able to recycle Trishula if you don't have Valley and stuff can be a problem. So of course, Fiendish Chain. The newest edition, 2 copies of Lose One Turn. I originally was running 3. I cut it to 2 just to make the deck a little more consistent. Lose One Turn is an awesome card. I don't care what anyone says. I played it in Cleve 4. It's great in Gravekeepers. Getting the special summon monsters to go to defense. It reminds me of the way Gravekeepers used to be played when you had triple Book of Moon. The ability to just really just defend against what your opponent's bringing out on the board. You don't special summon that much with this deck outside of Spy. So the ability to tilt their monster to defend, run their monsters over, get their monsters off the board, and keep your monsters alive is the whole point of the game. And with this deck, and Lose One Turn helps you do that. So I think the card is really solid in the deck. 2 has been perfect. 2 copies of Mirror Force. I'm not running Deep Prison. That's something that may change, but for now, just 2 Mirror Force. It gets the job done. When you have Dark Law on the board in Mirror Force, it's just a blowout. 2 copies of Mind Crush, still the card of the format. Not playing 3. I'm not maxing out on Mirror Force or Mind Crush. I've done that before in other decks, and people have commented, and I do agree, it does lead to clumpy hands and stuff. So I wanted to, have a little more variety. 2 copies of Dark Bribe. So I got to give a shout out to my boy GageX Scapegoat. He's been convincing me, to play this card for a really long time. He's one of the only other Gravekeeper players that plays this card, and I was on the wall about this card. I felt that, what are you gonna bribe? They're gonna get to draw a card. What are you really gonna bribe? And then, I put it in the deck. I tested with it, and I realized that I saved this card till it's absolutely needed, to where it's like the nail in the coffin when you're playing against a certain deck. The ability to just say no to their like one out or whatever out they have against Necro Valley or against your established board. Dark Bribe does that. Now, in the same sense, you can say, well, if they draw a card and they draw another out, well, they draw another out. They're going to draw that card anyway. It's either going to happen this turn or the next turn. It's going to happen, and that's just something that I've realized, and I really do like this card. It really does come through, especially when you have Valley on the board, and the only thing that can get them back into the game is destroying Necro Valley. If you don't have Shaman, Dark Bribe, save the Valley. It reminds me of Malefics. If you guys remember, I was a huge advocate of that deck. Dark Bribe was a staple in that deck, so I'm applying the same logic there with Gravekeepers now. Dark Bribe, what needs to be what can get in your way, and continue playing the game, continue controlling the game, and eventually win the game. So that's just been a really solid card. Try it out. It's not for everybody. I'm not saying you have to play it, but through testing, it has been a pretty solid card. So that's all I got to say on that. So again, shout out to Gage Hex Scapegoat for that one. The last two traps are one Emptiness and one Warning, very standard. So that's the main deck. Not a lot to explain. I've explained most of it. So now I'm just going to get an extra deck for you guys. So yeah, so let's get into the extra deck. Alright, you guys, now onto the extra deck for our Gravekeeper deck. We have for our fusions, because we're playing Mass Change number 2, we're playing 2 copies of Dark Law and 1 copy of Anki. That's all you need, in my opinion. Dark Law just gets the job done. Stick a Dark Law with Necro Valley on the board with some protection, you're good to go. Anki's a huge beater, got a cool effect. It's there, it's solid. For XYZs, I'm playing all rank 4s. I decided not to play any rank 3s. I do have the ability to because of the recruiters, but through testing it never really came up. So I just decided to stick to all basic rank 4s. I got 1 Dark Rebellion XYZ Dragon, 1 Exciton, 1 Heartland Draco, 1 number 101 Silent Honor, 1 number 52 Diamond Crab King. This card is awesome. You guys need to check this card out. It's a 3000 beater. Just read its effect. It's really, really cool. I like this card a lot. I try to bring it out when I'm trying to go for game if the situation comes up where you need it. It's a great card. For the other rank 4s, Castell, Master Key Beetle. Don't need to explain Key Beetle. You just can't. Key Beetle, Emptiness Key Beetle, Valley. Great. 1 Gugaga Samurai, a card I probably should have included in my hero deck, but I'm including it here. It's generic, rank 4. Blade Armor Ninja with another really cool effect. I like this card a lot. Can create OTKs out of nowhere, so a very solid card since it's generic. 1 Karga Goron, don't need to explain that. Protect Valley, protect Emptiness, etc. 1 Diamond Direwolf, more spot removal. Decree can't be a problem. 1 Dweller and 1 Cowboy. So that's it for the extra deck, you guys, and that pretty much does it for our Gravekeeper deck we're just going to call it for the June 2015 format. Alright, you guys, and there you have, after a long time, my updated Gravekeeper deck profile. It's been a long time. I really have always loved this deck. You guys can see the low rarity to the death of me. Always using the same Gravekeepers I did many years ago. Still love the deck. I will admit I abandoned the deck. I felt the deck could never really come back, but as I get older and I try to look back at other decks, you try to bring them back to life because you remember having so much fun with a certain deck, and even though more powerful decks come out, decks establish themselves as the best deck of the format. Necros is one of those. It pretty much says if you don't play this deck or another top tier deck, you're not going to win. But at the end of the day, you want to try and have fun in this game. And this is one of those decks. This is one of those decks you can bring to a locals, you can bring to a regional. And your opponent, for the most part, is not going to be prepared for it because they're not going to expect to see someone still playing Gravekeepers. They're not going to expect to see someone, upgrading it with cards like Lose One Turn and stuff like that. I mean, maybe now they will if they see this deck profile, but for any other purposes, it's just a really fun deck to play, and this is just one version of it. I'm sure there are better versions of it. I'm sure there are, changes you can make. This being one of them, if you're not a fan of this card, but I'm telling you, I wasn't either until I really, learned to use this card better to protect what was needed and to really add a more control-based game to the Gravekeeper deck, which it already plays that type of game. It controls the game. It controls the tempo of the game. And, that's how it wins. So this card added to that. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. It's great to profile a deck like this. I'm going to bring in a lot more, non-super meta decks on this channel. Really just want to, give you guys something else to look at. Give you guys decks that, you know, other channels don't want to, you know, pay attention to, or just players don't, you know, competitive players, you know, they only want to see Necros, they only want to see Shaddolls, you know, that's fine and all. But, you know, there are other decks. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a huge game, and, you know, being able to pay attention to other decks is just something that's really cool. And Gravekeepers are not the worst deck. They are able to compete. Necro Valley is a very solid card. It's become a side deck card for a lot of decks, so that alone should tell you that the deck is very solid. And the fact that you can play this guy in it is awesome too. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this. You know, like it as much as you want, share it as much as you want. Just be sure to, you know, come and like our Facebook fan page. For those of you that know, that is my official Facebook now, the Rare Hunters Den. Also follow us on Twitter. We're going to have our website up soon. And if you guys are ever in Southern California, be sure to visit our Rare Hunters booth at Frankensons in the City of Industry, booth number Magic 11. Any of these cards that you saw here today, they're also available for purchase there. And yeah, that's all I got to say, you guys. I hope you really enjoyed this as much as I enjoyed making it for you. And I'll see you guys in the next video. One more thing to add, you guys. I wanted to announce our winner of our first contest we've had here on the channel. Congratulations to the channel 777 Iceman. You are the lucky winner of the Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit. Don't be discouraged if you weren't the winner. We're going to have many more contests coming here on the channel. The next giveaway is going to be for a box of Cross Souls, so be sure to subscribe to the channel and, you know, check out our Facebook fan page and Twitter and everything for that. That'll be coming up soon, and we're going to have many other things. We're going to have mats. We're going to have other cards that come out in sets. We're going to have past cards and stuff like that. We're going to have a lot of contests for you guys. I hope you guys will, you know, interact with us. Stay tuned to just more good content, and yeah, so that's pretty much everything. Congratulations again to 777 Iceman, and I will see you guys in the next video.